Mike again with the 61 Beetle. Like or subscribe if you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's see. There were two things I wanted to do. One was I wanted to just, if I look at the state of this car right now, I've hit a little bit of a pause because like headliner is hard to do. The headliner is hard to do, and the carpeting with all of that sound insulation, I'm going to pull these seats out. I've got to do the headliner and the carpets and the rest of this silas, and that all just takes time. And I wanted to drive the car, which is why this is kind of taking me a pause. But I wanted to take a little bit of time and just on the video just show like maybe 5 or 6 photos of the rusty chassis and the original body, just because I think I've made like 140 videos or something of this as it's been going along, and now that it looks like this, and I still know that there's a ton of work to do, but this is a real car. This is definitely a real car now, and I think honestly, it's really about, all that's left really is I have to do the insulation on the floor, carpet on the floor, headliner, and back 3 windows. And then I'm pretty much there. I could do a little bit with the wiring of these gauges, electrical gauges, and then I'm waiting for my oil pressure gauge, which is back ordered at J-Bugs. I have to redo my vapor barrier on these side door panels. But other than that, this car is pretty much done. Make the steering wheel not hit. But so there's that. Let's just go through. I'll just sort of narrate here. When I first got this, I dragged it up from a place near Rockingham, sort of down south. The original body of the 65 was too rusty, so I had to get rid of it, but then nobody would take it without destroying my VIN number, so I had to basically totally scrap it in small pieces and get rid of it so that I could keep my chassis with the VIN number. And then I pulled out the 1300 engine. I sold it for like $1,000 and bought the 61 body, which had no rust, for about $1,000. Then I had the issue getting the title because it wasn't the title that I had gotten. It wasn't notarized, and that was a bad mistake. Found the previous owner, got it notarized, so I got the title and registration and everything. And then the chassis was super rusty. I went through the chassis 100%, floor pans, front suspension, rear, cleaned out the transaxle, did all the struts. I had to drill out some broken body bolts that were stuck in, and rust reformer and everything, and seam sealer, and then the pedal mounts and all that, and then finally got painted the wheels, got everything going. And I had the chassis for a long time, and I had the body up on these, and did just a bunch of work. I had to buy the 4 new fenders. I had to get the snowflakes. I had to scrap the original 65 deck lid, and I sold that for like $300. Shipped it to Florida. I did the license plate restore. Finally got to the point where I could prime and paint it after doing the body work, some of this crap. And I did the heater channels. The heater channels are a huge pain in the ass. The bars are essential to keep the frame at the right shape. So I did the body, had that out here, and then I got it all, basically ready to prime and paint, and got rid of all the rust. No rust on this thing whatsoever. And then finally, after painting this and painting the interior, exterior, putting fiberglass on it, sanding down the Bondo, my hands were so raw. And then I got it so that I could lower the body down onto it, bolt it in place. I had to take it off once or twice in order to redo some stuff. Also, the body bolts on the underside didn't all fit totally properly. I used this guy right here with a block and tackle that you can see over where my engine stand is. Got it down on there. And then, you know, now is the fun part. Really, I can start installing the stuff. Windshield wipers. I did the wiring harness. I did, you know, had the fiasco with these hinge pins, redid the doors. So I'm just gonna, you know, then got the bumpers, put the motor in. Has had some issues with the brake master cylinder leaking and had to replace that. So I'm just gonna post like a series of pictures from that process, and that'll be interesting. The other thing I just wanted to show is what I'm prepping for with the headliner, because you know, I have this all ready to go headliner wise, and upstairs I got my foam and I'm just starting to get stuff ready for the headliner. So, all right. So up here you can see I got a huge piece of foam. I think I have 5 yards of it or something like that. I just got a huge piece of foam, and I'm starting to just sort of figure out what I need to do here. Whether this has a particular side that, or if it's the same on both sides. Look closely. Yeah, there's more of a leather, and then there's a kind of a like what looks like fabric. So the leathery side is the outside, so this is the top. So this is the part that goes under the rear window. So you know, I have this easy install headliner, and I'm gonna start cutting out my foam and gluing it in place, both you know, the rear and on the sides and up the pillars. I've never done this before, so you know, you get spray glue. I have a feeling I'm going to be swearing a fair amount with that in order to finally get that in place. So you know, I have, as I said, headliner, sound insulation on the floor pans, and the carpet that is the subfloor carpet, the mats, and then that'll be it. So anyway, remember to like or subscribe, and I'll keep posting as I start making progress on the headliner. All right, thanks. Which is when I turn my wheel all the way, say I turn it all the way to the left, okay? Now I look down here. Let me grab a light. So the heater channels that I put on have a ridge. The ridge is, you see this ridge? It's this ridge right here. Now when I turn my wheel all the way left, actually that doesn't hit. That has about probably 1.5 centimeters. See if I can show the gap there. So that's when I turn it all the way to the left. Now, when I turn it all the way to the right, and then I look here, I noticed this because I was backing out and I turned it all the way to the right. And when I turn it all the way to the right, look at the ridge here. So it hits. So what that really means is I did not fully center my steering, and I basically need to make it, if possible, just make everything go to the left just a little bit, which means my steering box, I guess I could do that using my, I guess I could do that just with the outer tie rods if I pulled in the, if I pulled in this wheel, see, probably what it is my steering box is not centered. And what I should probably do is make the steering box go off a little bit so that it's steering left a little bit more than it is now. But I have the wheel already centered. Everything is pretty good. I mean, I could pretty easily move the wheel by a couple of teeth if I needed to recenter it. But now that I have everything together, you know, the easiest way to make that right wheel not rub might be for me to loosen my tie rods. And I don't know if I can get at, yeah, I can get at both of them. So I can get at them here, loosen my tie rods, and then pull the entire mechanism. So in other words, tighten the left wheel, lengthen the right side tie rod. And then with my current steering mechanism setup, I can actually make it so that the right wheel doesn't rub. Anyway, let me know if you have any thoughts on that. That is, you know, it was kind of shocking to me as I was backing up and I actually hit the little ridge with my front right tire. So that's the first thing.